Number 10. In Doctor Who, Season 1, the Doctor takes Rose Tyler to see the destruction of the Earth in 5 billion years. However, researchers working with NASA think that the world will actually end in 1 billion years, so 4 billion years less. This will be due to our ever-expanding sun, which will burn off all of the oxygen on our planet, essentially turning into a little fireball before it's consumed. The sun will most likely expand into a red dwarf and literally eat us. Hopefully by then we will have expanded into the universe and inhabited other planets and, you know, like Firefly. It would be awesome if that was real. However, we might destroy ourselves before the sun even has a chance to. So although it is inevitable that the sun will eat us for lunch, what we are doing now might beat it to the punch if we don't do something about it. Number 9. Wandering black holes. Black holes that move? No thank you. They can stay right where they are, except for some of them can't. Scientists always suspected that black holes could travel, but they just haven't found one until March 2020, that is. Yay! Researchers at the Center of Astrophysics Harvard-Smithsonian finally found a concrete specimen. At the center of a galaxy 230 million light years away is a wandering black hole. It has a mass of 3 million times that of our sun, and it is moving at 110,000 miles per hour. Black holes, due to their sheer mass, are usually just too heavy to get any kind of traction. Imagine kicking a bowling ball versus a soccer ball. Bowling ball is the black hole. But scientists think that it may have gotten its start due to a collision, therefore meaning that it could be part of a pair. So where's the other one? Could it be heading straight for us, ready to suck future generations into oblivion? I guess we will never find out, but they will, so good luck guys. Number 8. Satellite Demolition Derby. I feel like we practically just started going to space. It's only been since the 60s, like 6 decades, like that's insane. Which is why this number blows my mind. In space right now, orbiting our planet are tens of thousands of pieces of space junk, even millions. There are 2,000 active satellites and 3,000 dead ones just like chilling up there. Now that may not sound like too much of a problem, but it really could be. If they started hitting each other, the results would be disastrous. NASA scientist Donald Kessler in the 1970s proposed that if there was too much space junk in orbit, that a chain reaction could occur. As the junk collides with each other, it could cause even more space junk, making Earth's orbit entirely unusable. As you can gather, this would potentially be catastrophic. For companies like SpaceX, who plan on launching 50,000 satellites for global internet coverage, more obstacle avoidance procedures need to be put in place before that happens. Otherwise, I don't know, I don't want to think about it. It could get really bad. Number 7. Aliens. The wonderful late Stephen Hawking proposed that aliens could be dangerous for us to interact with. If you haven't seen Into the Universe with Stephen Hawking, you should. It's great. I love it. I put it on in the background all the time. He states that not only do intelligent life forms definitely exist, just probability wise, he does warn that interacting with them could be really dangerous. Quote, "We only have to look at ourselves to see how intelligent life might develop into something we wouldn't want to meet." Unquote. First and foremost, if they actually made it here, then they have technology far beyond our understanding yet. That kind of technology would be pretty intimidating, and consider how well we humans have dealt with meeting new people in the past. Answer, not good. But who's to say these intelligent aliens might not also be looking to colonize and conquer? We could be to them what the Mayans were to Cortez. If it's the other way around and we end up seeking them out first, who's to say history wouldn't repeat itself? You know, especially if we're looking for a new place to live. Ugh. Number 6. Wandering stars. The entire universe is continuing to expand, so that means that everything is constantly moving and could eventually tear apart. But anyways, even our sun is moving. But in relation to us, it isn't moving. However, there are stars that do. They are called wandering stars, and there is one in the Milky Way. What makes this one so dangerous is that it could get so close to our sun that it disturbs the Oort cloud. This cloud at the edge of the solar system is composed of comets, which would come hurtling at us if something were to hit it. Therefore, not a pleasant thing to think about. As we will discuss later, asteroids will not be kind to Earth. Now imagine thousands all at once. Currently though, we are in a region of less dense interstellar gas. Additionally, the wind and solar magnetic field protect us from interacting with the stellar medium. We will probably move out of this in the next 20,000 to 50,000 years, meaning more dangers will come our way. So basically, our sun protects us until something messes with that. Hence, wandering stars are the worst. I won't be around to see that, hopefully not anyways, and you won't me either, but somebody will be, and I hope I don't hope they don't get to see it either. Number 5, supernova. What is a supernova? Well, it's essentially when a star of immense size explodes. Is this potentially deadly? Absolutely. Our sun is expected to die eventually, but probably not for, a billion years as previously mentioned. But what will happen when it does? Well, the entire Earth would burn up essentially as previously mentioned. It would be 15 times hotter than the surface of the sun, but that's not going to happen for a while yet. However, if a supernova occurred some 30 light years away, this could have detrimental effects on Earth now. Possibly mass extinctions, destruction of the ozone layer, therefore leaving Earth vulnerable to solar rays, which would kill us all. The oxygen and nitrogen in the atmosphere could also ionize, meaning our atmosphere would turn into a kind of thick smog. Not a good time, and doesn't sound very good. I don't want to be there. Number 4, gamma ray bursts. Okay, so we just talked about how scary supernovas are. Well, get ready for gamma rays. It's a death ray from space. They are the most extreme explosions in the universe, like a supernova. It's crazy enough to think that our sun could explode within seconds, not anytime soon, but imagine a star several times the mass of ours collapsing into a black hole. This could turn into a gamma ray burst. Essentially, twin beams blast out light so bright that we can see them from Earth, even if they are billions of light years away. So it's like a black hole's in the center and 2 lasers. If you think that's crazy, check out this fact. A gamma ray burst can release more energy than the sun will emit in its entire lifetime. What does that mean? It means death for any planet, asteroid, or spaceman in its way. It's literally like the universe made a lightsaber. Some scientists think that these gamma rays are one of the reasons for the mass extinctions on Earth. Let's hope that's not the case in future. Number 3, solar flares. Okay, so even if you're someone who condemns cell phones and says that the internet is killing our brains, yada yada yada, much of your life still depends on technology. Many people worry that a killer solar flare could destroy our planet, but that's not actually possible. But what is possible is a complete and total blackout. While the heat of a flare can't make it to Earth, electromagnetic radiation and energetic particles can. They can and have messed with the upper atmosphere and disrupted signal transmissions. But that's tame compared to what else could happen. Should a coronal mass ejection, a CME, hit Earth, it's game over for Insta. I will never see you again. Bye bye YouTube. They propel electromagnetic fluctuations that could fry ground level power grids, causing a total worldwide blackout. The largest geomagnetic storm caused by this ever recorded was in 1859. Telegraph networks around the globe failed, operators were shocked, and telegraph paper caught on fire. If we have a storm anything close to that, it could be catastrophic. Number 2, an asteroid. Of course. Ever seen Deep Impact or Armageddon? I have seen both, each only once because they terrified me so much. All throughout our galaxy, throughout the universe, there are wandering massive rocks drifting through space. Some are as large as whole provinces, even countries. At this moment, there are currently 20,000 asteroids in our galaxy that could pose a threat. Now, I assume that scientists actually have a plan for if one starts barreling for us, but it would be incredibly hard to stop regardless. The White House Office of Science and Technology Policy released a report on June 20th in 2018 that detailed the steps NASA and FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, will take to prevent asteroids from striking Earth and prepare the US for the consequences of the event. Side note, I love how Canada always dies in every disaster movie ever. The day after tomorrow, nobody cares about them. We're probably fine though. Anyways, that was a side note, side tangent. Anyways, the US, they are planning ways on deflecting them, as well as developing technology that better predicts the probability that ones will hit. So, maybe we won't be able to stop them, but we'll know they're coming, so I guess we can say goodbye to our loved ones. And last but not least, interstellar clouds. Imagine one day looking up into the sky and not seeing any stars. Or very few at least. Then another night you look into your telescope and you can no longer see Jupiter. The next morning there's a murky darkness over the sky. You realize that no, this isn't a sci-fi nightmare or an episode of Doctor Who. There's no one to save us. What I'm talking about is an interstellar dust cloud that is capable of destroying the Earth. But don't worry, as terrifying as that intro was, we probably won't be alive to see it. Maybe no one will be, who knows. This event will probably happen in a few millennia, but eventually Earth will come in contact with a cloud 1,000 times denser than space. Imagine going from swimming in a pool to swimming in a pile of jello. Yeah. Dust and gas will penetrate our atmosphere and eat away the oxygen. Our planet will then be left vulnerable to solar wind that will come in and tear apart the molecules of life. Something I'm glad I will not be there to see.
Coming at number 10 is HR 6891. Let's kick off this list with a big boy that is the closest to Earth. This thing is only about 1,000 light years away from our planet, and it was discovered this year. How do you discover a black hole? Who the hell knows? But I can tell you that it's not easy because it took us this long to find the one that is closest to us. I have to say that I'm not happy knowing that one is that close, because I know that nothing moves as fast as the speed of light, and even if things did, I would be dead long before it ever reaches us. But I still don't like the idea of this big boy closing in. I really have to ask myself, what do I want? Because I do want to go to space, but I also don't want to get caught in a black hole. I'm so indecisive. Coming in at number 9 is S50014+81. I have to say that I'm learning a lot from doing this list. I really knew nothing about black holes before making this video, and while I still know very little, I feel like I know a little bit more. But also making this list is making me feel dumb because I barely know what half the things I'm reading mean. But I kinda know what this thing is. This is a big old black hole that seems to be sitting at the center of a quasar, which is what happens when a black hole is at the center of a bunch of mass, and the force of the black hole pulling in all this junk around it causes the area to be extremely bright because the gravitational energy is being transformed into light energy. Is there any way we can do this on Earth to make clean energy? Scientists, get on that, chop chop please! Well, this mass has made the whole area extremely bright. In fact, the luminosity is 10 to the power of 41 in wattage. So it's safe to say that it would kill you. Coming in number 8 is 3C75. I get why they give black holes numerical names because it makes it easier to keep track of them and makes everyone's job so much simpler, but it would be great to have a job where you just get to name all the black holes. You could just be like, this one's Big John XL Deluxe Edition, he looks blue! Well, 3C75 doesn't have the honor of being named by me, but this beast is still out there making a name for himself. He's hanging out in the Abell cluster that has 400 galaxies around it. That seems a bit excessive, I'm sure 100 would be enough. Also, this guy is blasting through space at 1,200 kilometers per second and flying through plasma. This causes sheets of plasma to blast off in radio jets. This emits radio waves that usually flow from the center of galaxies. I wonder if we could tap into those waves and figure out what's going on inside one of those black holes. Coming at number 7 is 4C plus 37.11. Both these big boys are chilling in the same solar system, and they are about 750 million light years away from Earth. Yeah, you thought it took a long time to fly to Australia. I don't even know if I want to check out what's going on over there. Do they even have oxygen? What am I gonna breathe? Well, this galaxy is home to 2 supermassive black holes. Just how big are these 2 orbs that are floating around out there? Well, each one of them is around 15 billion times heavier than our sun. So it's safe to say that if they ever came in contact with our sun, they would beat the out of it. I mean, it wouldn't even be a fair fight. They're not even close to the same weight class. I mean, 20 pounds is supposed to be a big difference, so I couldn't imagine fighting someone who's 15 billion times heavier than you. That's outrageous. Coming in at number 6, we have the unknown. You know, I almost put this at number 1 because that is the spookiest thing I can think about. But I figured I would give you guys some black holes that have actually been found to put in the top spots on this list because that's a little bit more exciting. But the worst black holes I can think about in the universe are the ones that haven't even been found. Like later in this list, you're going to find out what is the largest black hole that has ever been discovered. But what if there's something bigger than that? And what if there's something living inside the black hole? That's not likely, but what if? That's all I'm saying. My mind is running games about what's going on in space, and that is the spookiest thing in town. Coming in at number 5 is Sagittarius A. What is at the middle of a Tootsie Pop? Well, it's some delicious Tootsie Roll candy, of course. So what is at the center of the Milky Way galaxy? Is it some delicious milky nougat? Unfortunately, no. It's a massive black hole that will one day swallow all life in our galaxy. Well, the first part is true. I'm not smart enough to know if the second part will actually happen, but this gigantic supermassive black hole is at the center of our galaxy galaxy, and it is 4 million times the weight of our sun. It's not the biggest one out there, but this big boy is definitely trying. Coming in number 4 is H1821 plus 643. Oh, these names are so fun. How much heavier than our sun do you think this black hole is? Would you guess that it's 200 times bigger? Maybe even a million times bigger? Maybe even 100 million times bigger? Well, if you were to guess any of those numbers, you would be way off. The actual size of this bad boy is 30 billion times heavier than our sun. This is what they call a supermassive black hole, and it is strong enough to pull in entire solar systems. It is surrounded by clouds of hydrogen and oxygen, and guess what? It isn't even the biggest black hole on our list. Coming in at number 3 is S4714. This is a supermassive black hole that is tearing through the universe faster than any other black hole that has been discovered. This thing moves at 15,000 miles per second. If it was headed for us, it would zoom through and wipe out the whole planet before we even had a chance to look up. It could come through here faster than Masvidal knocking out Ben Askren. I can't put that clip in this video because of copyright reasons, but just so you know, it was like 2 seconds or something. But on the bright side, a black hole has so much gravity that I'm pretty sure it would rip our atoms apart before we even got a chance to feel anything. Maybe that's how I want to die, getting absorbed into a black hole. Someone in the comments, please let me know if that would be painless or the most painful thing that I've ever felt in my whole life. Coming in at number 2, we have J2157. This has been recorded as the fastest growing black hole because you know what they say about black holes. They're growing boys that need plenty to eat to grow up big and strong. Oh no wait, that's humans who they say that about. This is just a terrifying pit in the middle of space that is eating everything in sight. This black hole is constantly expanding. J2157 is absorbing approximately the equivalent to 1 solar mass a day. That means it's eating enough mass to match our sun every day. Are we sure that this is a black hole and it isn't Galactus out in space devouring worlds like Joey Chestnut eating up a hot dog like it's nobody's business?
The champion of the world, Joey Chestnut!
And coming at the number 1 spot is the Holmberg black hole. Back in 2019, scientists discovered something very strange going on in the Holmberg galaxy. It seemed that every star and planet was rotating around one massive thing. To have an entire galaxy rotating around one large gravitational mass, it would have to be insanely huge, and this is pretty unusual. So scientists went investigating and they found the largest black hole that has ever been seen. This thing was 40 billion times the weight of our sun, and it's somewhere around 25 times larger than our solar system. Holy crap. I wonder what would happen if you dropped a quarter into it. As I stated before, this thing is so powerful that it's slowly pulling in entire galaxies. Scientists believe that it is impossible for a black hole to get much larger than this unless 2 black holes of a similar size were to merge into one. Could enough black holes merge together that everything in the universe gets pulled into one place and then all the matter in the universe gets crushed down until the pressure is so high it explodes out in a big bang? Did I just solve the universe?
Starting off this countdown, we have the Boomerang Nebula. The Boomerang Nebula is located 5,000 light years away in a large constellation in the southern sky. But don't even think about going there. I mean, just imagine that you did have the capabilities to. But anyways, if humans somehow got there, they would instantly be turned into a human popsicle. Yes, this place is the coldest place in the entire universe as far as we know. The temperature is negative 458 degrees Fahrenheit. For reference, the coldest place on Earth is negative 133.6 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's Antarctica. So yeah, this place is freezing. There's no way you could get there safely without freezing to death. Coming in at number 9, we have exoplanet HD 189733b. This planet would take your life the second you step foot on it. First off, its wind is incredibly strong. It blows up to 5,400 miles per hour. That's 7 times the speed of sound. You just end up being spiraled around the planet until you die. But if you somehow survive that, then you definitely wouldn't survive its rainstorms. Apparently its rain feels like shards of glass. So, you'll get sliced up from it. Happy travels. In our 8th spot, we have the pulsar star PSR B125712. This star is a collapsed core from an exploded star, and it's surrounded by 3 zombie planets. Yeah, NASA actually refers to them as zombie planets. What happens if you get too close to the star and its planets, you ask? Well, according to NASA, and I quote, "This undead star spins twin beams of radiation that could incinerate a spaceship foolish enough to come too close." NASA continues on by saying, if you were to land on one of its orbiting planets, you would find sickly irradited auras to light up your certain death. So there you go. Cancel your summer plans. No one's going there. Moving on to number 7, we have HD 80606b. Here we have a gas giant. Now this planet looks creepy with its blood red flamey surface. Seriously, looks like a planet from hell. In fact, it's got some hell-like temperatures. The temperature can go from 1000 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 500 degrees Celsius, to 2200 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 1200 degrees Celsius. It can get that hot in a matter of hours. And guess what? Its nights are actually hotter than its days. It's completely weird. Some even say going on that planet would feel like getting blasted alive with a blowtorch. So, that's always fun, right? Coming in at number 6, we have RxJ1347. I'm just going to call it RxJ for short. So RxJ is a massive galaxy cluster surrounded by a gas cloud in the constellation Virgo. It's around 5 billion light years away from the solar system, and it's considered the hottest place in the universe that we know so far. It's thought that this was created as a result of 2 galaxy clusters colliding. Now, guess how hot this place is? Seriously, take a wild guess. Comment down below. Done? Well, it's 100 million degrees Celsius. Another source said that it's up to 3 million degrees Celsius. Needless to say, that is burning hot. It could melt you in a second. In less than a second. Yikes. We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with Boötes Void. This is considered one of the spookiest places in the cosmos. It's also referred to as the Great Nothing. Now, doesn't that sound like a place you want to visit? It gets its name because it's one of the largest known voids in the universe. In fact, it's also called the Super Void. It was discovered by astronomer Robert Kirshner back in 1981. It's located in the constellation of Boötes, hence its name. And it is massive. It's about 330 million light years in diameter. That's approximately 0.27% of the diameter of the observable universe. Yeah, it's an incredibly big void. But it's still unknown how voids are present and being formed. But it's best that we just stay far away from them as possible. Moving on to number 4, we have Venus. Yes, a planet in our solar system that you really shouldn't visit. Bam, there goes my weekend plans. Anyways, so the farther planets are away from the sun, obviously the cooler they get. Well, that's not the case for Venus. It may be behind Mercury, but it is definitely way hotter than Mercury. In fact, it's the hottest planet in our solar system. Basically, its dense atmosphere traps all the heat in. As a result, the temperatures reach 880 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 471 degrees Celsius. It's hot, hot. Spacecrafts that have landed there have only survived for a couple of hours before being completely destroyed by the heat. So imagine what would happen if humans took a step on that planet. Yeah, it wouldn't be pretty. Moving on to number 3, we have Gliese 1214b. This is another planet that could cook you alive. So it was first discovered in December of 2009, and it's located 42 light years away from Earth. Now, this planet is super weird. Despite it being super hot, 200 degrees Celsius, which is 392 degrees Fahrenheit, the planet is made up of water. But you think with that heat, the water would just evaporate. Well, its high atmospheric pressures stop its water from boiling. I should mention that the pressure is so strong, it could crush our bones if we went there. Now, in fact, its water isn't what we know as water. Theirs is more like this thick, hot ice. It's quite weird. Coming in at number 2, we have Jupiter. Jupiter, our solar system's massive gas giant. First, can we just talk about how big Jupiter is? It's 2.5 times more massive than all the other planets in the solar system combined. Compared to Earth, its mass is 318 times as massive as Earth. Now, on to visiting Jupiter. Well, if you do want to go there, guess what? It doesn't have a solid surface, so you would kind of just fall right through and bye-bye. On top of that, you would be frozen by its temperature, which is negative 162 degrees Fahrenheit, or negative 108 degrees Celsius. And to top it all off, you'd be exposed to very deadly radiation. And I'm pretty sure your head would just explode from its pressure. So, yeah, Have fun visiting Jupiter. And in our number 1 spot, we have the black holes. Black holes scare the crap out of me. Seriously, just imagine Earth getting swallowed up by one. I know, it's highly unlikely, but still. Anyways, a black hole is a point in space where gravity is so strong that nothing around it can escape. Not even light. NASA states the gravity is so strong because matter has been squeezed into a tiny space. So if you went into space looking for one and got sucked into it, then you would be subjected to something called spaghettification. Basically, the gravity in the black hole would stretch you out like spaghetti. I mean, I love spaghetti, but I don't want to be turned into a human noodle. No thank you. So let me explain this process. Let's say you were headed feet first into the black hole. Your feet are physically closer to the black hole, so they would feel a stronger gravitational pull than your head would. So your feet are being pulled further in, which is stretching your body. Now your arms, because they aren't at the center of your body, would cause your body to be pulled inwards, making you appear super thin. So basically, if we did get sucked into a black hole, we would all be compressed and elongated, looking like human noodles. It's terrifying.